All right, we're rolling in. Okay, so since you mentioned Cuba already,
Mm-hmm.
you were on the Enterprise during the Cuban Missile Crisis, correct?
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about that experience. What little there is to tell.
There's very little to tell. I wasn't involved in anything directly, and we didn't do any combat and stuff like that there.
So did you guys like leave Newport News really quick, deploy really quick, or were you already out in the Atlantic when they ordered you guys to Cuba?
I think we left Newport News or Norfolk, and when they decided we should go down there.
Huh. All right. Well, I knew there wasn't much to the story, but I had to at least,
Yeah.
since you were there. So let's see. So then, after the visit to Guantanamo, then you went to the Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, yeah.
And how long was that?
Those are about 9-month cruises.
Unlike today's Navy, where it's 6 months.
I don't know if they're 6 months now or not.
Most of them are 6 months. So 9 months.
Yeah.
So on that trip, what country did you stop at or visit or?
Oh, everything along the Mediterranean. France, Italy, Greece, Turkey.
Nothing in North Africa.
No, nothing to do there.
And what was your favorite thing? What was the best thing that you saw there?
In the Mediterranean?
In the Mediterranean.
I enjoyed Athens, Greece the most, because I could associate my schooling geography study with what I was seeing there.
Okay.
The Parthenon and things.
So it all sort of came together.
Yeah.
What you learned, and then
yeah,
makes sense. So then you visited took the Mediterranean. Is that when they took the picture of the Enterprise with the other two ships? By the way,
that
famous
was
picture.
Yeah, that was the end of the 9-month cruise.
Uh-huh.
They cut it down to 7 months, and had us go around the world going back to Norfolk. So it was a total of 9 months.
Oh, is that why it was 9 months?
Yeah, that one. The others were 9 months, but they let us out early. They let us out of the Mediterranean early, after 7 months, and then we spent the next 2 months visiting.
Back.
Now there we they did a lot of demonstrations of the firepower of the
aircraft.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, okay, so you went around South Africa.
We went around as we come down.
You couldn't go through the Suez.
Huh?
You didn't go through the Suez.
No,
okay.
no.
Too big.
No. Yeah, I don't think it would have fit there.
Yeah. So you went around the.
We come
Cape
down
Horn.
the west side of Africa,
Uh-huh.
and around Cape Horn, and then up the east side.
Did you ever stop in Diego Garcia?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, that's a big supply depot for the military in the Indian Ocean. I'm just curious. Okay, so anyway, so on your way back from from the Mediterranean, it would have been easier just to go straight across the Atlantic.
Right.
You mentioned something about getting close to Vietnam. This is obviously in 1960. We're talking about 1960.
I guess I was on the USS Chicago then, a guided missile cruiser.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was later. But you took the Enterprise basically around the Horn of Africa.
Yeah.
And then did you go through around the southern tip of South America as well?
Yes.
And then back up the east coast of South and Central America and so on. Huh. Okay, so you get Did you meet President Kennedy? Because he was on the Enterprise.
No.
He was there, I don't know if during sea trials or something. Because there is a famous photo of him sitting in the air boss's chair on the Enterprise. Anyway.
No, I never did meet him.
So you were on the Enterprise until, you said, June?
Until
January.
January of '66.
All right. So from there, somewhere along in there, I joined the family. Towards the end there. Didn't you go to Rhode Island? When did you go to Knife and Fork School?
January '66 to April '66. Warrant Officer Indoctrination. Knife and Fork School in Newport, Rhode Island.
When did you actually get the Warrant Officer rating?
When I was on the Enterprise.
I mean, about what time? I mean, what year?
Oh, about in January of '66.
Oh, so shortly thereafter you went to Rhode Island.
Yes.
There was no much time in between. Huh.
Newport, Rhode Island.
All right, and then once you finished that school, then where?
Then I got assigned to the USS Chicago, CG-11.
Which was stationed where?
Norfolk. Couldn't get away from Norfolk.
Because you know there's Navy bases in Texas, California, Washington, Hawaii. But anyway, so how long were you on board the Chicago?
I was on board Chicago 1 year and 2 months.
And you were well, because of your rank, you were in charge, I imagine, of the. What were you in charge of, or what did you do on that ship?
I was an assistant division officer for the repair division.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, explain to those who don't know what a typical day was like on board a ship for you. Because you mentioned it to me in the past, because I was thinking 16-hour days, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, 8 hours sleep a day. But you said it really wasn't like that. Unless something broke. You basically had 8-hour days.
Oh, yeah.
You know. So it's more like the Love Boat. Only in the sense that you only had 8-hour days.
Yeah.
Unless something went wrong and you had to fix it or whatever. Okay. So you were on the Chicago for until when?
June of '67.
All right, and then where did you go from there?
I went on board at Chicago as a warrant officer and left there as a CWO2.
Oh, so you got promoted while you were on board there.
And then the Navy built a new repair ship, the Samuel Gompers.
Okay.
It was in up in Washington. Yeah. Bremerton.
Now, where does the house in San Diego come into play? When did you move us to San Diego? Because we didn't live in Washington.
No.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Probably stayed with your grandma.
Yeah, I know we did. I know that. But so, do you know about when you moved into the Keene Drive house?
About March of '68. I wasn't on the Gompers, but 9 months, I guess, on the Gompers.
That's it? So you either stayed on board a long time or you didn't stay on board very long. At least that's the pattern. So after the Gompers you were assigned to where?
To the Recruit Training Command in San Diego, and that's probably when we went
when you
to
moved.